Hello there folks, and welcome back to another speed paint video. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I really like the aesthetic direction of Neopets. Even though I haven't played the game since I was a kid, I still really like it a lot. I just love the character designs, I love the color palettes they use, I just think it's really neat. I don't know if I'll ever get back into playing the game for myself, but I do like watching it from the outside just because I think the game's pretty cool. One of the coolest things that they recently added to the game is pet styles, which made the previously unconverted pets obsolete. If you're not familiar with the whole drama and black market surrounding unconverted pets, maybe go look that up because it's actually kind of interesting to learn about. But anyway, basically, your Neopets can now have different alternative art with different colors, different poses, and other cute stuff than they could before. And I just think that's a really cool feature, and I really like it. It gives a lot more variety and customizability to all your different pets. So for this week, I wanted to draw some of my favorite styles that I saw while browsing Jelly Neo, and just have a lot of fun drawing different versions of different Neopets. And even drawing some species that I don't think I've drawn here on the channel before. So, without further ado, let's get into the speed paint. The first style I drew was the Prismatic Ice Nostalgic Fairy Lutari. I love the fairy Neopets. They are 100% my favorite style of Neopet and favorite, genre, I guess. My favorite paintbrush of Neopet is definitely the fairies. They're so nostalgic to me. I love the variety of them, and I just love the fairies so much. They're so cool. I think they're really cool character designs. I love how they apply the fairy aesthetic to the pets themselves. It's always such a little treat. And I was just completely enamored by the wonderful color palette of the Prismatic Ice set, and it looked really good on the Lutari in particular. I've actually been meaning to draw a Lutari for a while just because I like their shapes a lot. But, you know, I just haven't gotten around to doing Neopets art in a while, so I finally decided to do that for this one. My main purpose with this piece in particular was actually for it to be a good commission example for my VGem page, since it had been a while since I had done like a full body art on a simple background, so I thought it would make for a good commission example, as well as just a nice fun thing to draw. This thing's just got so many fun flowy shapes that were really satisfying to do, and man, I just had a lot of fun with it. This color palette is just so cool. I love all the black accents. I think that's so sick, and all the different shades of blue, even though they're kind of similar in value. I feel like they play really nicely together and really evoke the idea of iridescent ice, which I think was totally the thing they were going for. Either way, this thing is just so cool. I just had so much fun with it. I always love drawing the fairy Neopets. Spoiler alert, this is not the only fairy Neopet you're going to be seeing in this video in particular, just because I just love this aesthetic so much. And making a blue version that was having a lot of high contrast accents, well, that was just right up my alley from the beginning. So I just had a lot of fun with this Lutari, making this playful little otter with these little wings, and really just having a real ball while working on this one, so I had a ton of fun. I'm very happy with how it came out. The next one is Prismatic Pink Celebratory Anniversary Varwolf. If you're not aware, the Varwolf is actually the most recent species of pet they added to Neopets as part of the celebration for the 25th anniversary, and it was originally a pet that was introduced as an April Fool's joke years ago, but they finally added it to the game proper, and I just think that's super cool. I love the Varwolf. It's such a fun, simple design. It feels like one that could have been there all along, which I suppose is only fitting since it's a design that originates from the 2000s, much like most of the other pets. I like that it's kind of a canine, but it's got a little bit of feline elements. I feel like the saber teeth are very much like a saber-tooth cat, more than any kind of canine that I've met, even though now that I think about it, those teeth are called canines. So yeah, this is just a fun design. I love the wings. They very much feel like an Art Deco statue to me in particular. And the 25th anniversary celebration collection of Neopets are just so good. I love their stars. I love their colors. I just think they're all so cute. Their poses are also really good too. So I ended up deciding on the Varwolf here because I know for a fact I haven't drawn a Varwolf before, and I thought it was very fitting for the anniversary aesthetic because it is a species that came out during that time. And I just think it's super cool. The Varwolf's really awesome, and I just think it's so cool that they keep adding new stuff to Neopets. Even though, again, I haven't played since I was a kid, it's really cool, watching it from the outside continue to grow and add more new things. And it's just super cool. The Varwolf's just a great pillar of that, and it's just a very fun design to draw too. Next up we have Prismatic Iridescent, Nostalgic Moroccan Psy Bunny. The Nostalgic series, I believe, are supposed to be like the supplement for the unconverted pets, so the art is most similar to the art from like before the big conversion thing that happened on the website a long time ago. So it's got the older style of line art, it's a little bit more dynamic, that's part of why the unconverted pets were so popular. And this thing is just fun. I feel like it's got some aspects to it, like the ears, that feel a little bit shrimpy to me, which is kind of funny to say. But its rear paws kind of remind me of a pinniped, in that, like, you can see the discrete toes, but it does look like fins. And its tail, like, kind of reminds me of a sea slug. I don't know, there's just a lot of different elements that feel like they're pulled from a lot of different types of sea creatures in this design, and I think that's, like, super cool, because they go together really harmoniously, even though they are definitely, like, Frankenstein together from different inspirations, which I think is really cool. The prismatic iridescent color palette is also really nice. It's such a nice, like, pastel, oceanic sort of vibe. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, some of the ocean areas in, like, Hello Kitty's Island Adventure, which I was playing a lot during the summer. At least to me, that's what it reminds me of. I don't know if it's that vibe for anybody else. Let me know what this color palette reminds you of in the comments below, just because I'm curious. It feels very evocative of something, and I really like it. It's very nice to have, like, a very low contrast color palette, and figuring out how to use it is such a puzzle, but I really like it. Using that darker purple was definitely, like, what brought this piece together for me. It made it very easy to make this readable, but I think it could have easily gotten very muddy if I just used the same values for everything. Either way, this was like an interesting challenge, but also very fun to draw. I love drawing an aquatic design, this color palette was a ton of fun, and I really like how the Moroccan Psy Bunny looks. Next up we have Prismatic Tinsel Festive Christmas Hissy, and unfortunately I forgot to hit record for almost this entire speed paint, so this one's going to be a little bit shorter than the rest. The hissies are pretty cute. I really like that they do have a snake Neopet, and it's really funny that I assume they wanted it to have very dynamic poses, so they gave it limbs in the form of like these little wings. And I kind of like the kind of crunchy ice vibe they gave to the festive hissy in particular, as opposed to the feathers that most of them get. And I really like the tinsel color palette because I love the dark belly with the stripes paired with the white upper side. I just think that was really cool. Either way, this is a very simple design that I really had a lot of fun drawing, and it's a shame that I lost most of the time lapse for it, but I still really like how the overall finished piece came out. Next up we have Prismatic Blossom, Nostalgic Fairy Cobra. Another nostalgic art, and this one is also a fairy, so we're retouching some old stuff from the earlier parts of the speed paint here. The Cobra is definitely, like, in my opinion, one of the most iconic of the pets. I feel like the one NPC whose name I don't remember, he's like an explorer, I feel like he was pretty popular back in the day. At the very least, I feel like I saw him a lot in the marketing back when I was, like, a little kid. And I know, like, one of the only people I know who play Neopets still is Karina Ferrick from Drawfee. And one of her most famous Neopets is Destial Confession, who is a candy Kogra. So I feel like Kogras are, like, very popular, especially if you're someone who's not very into Neopets. Like, you'd probably look at one and recognize that it is a Neopet. I don't know how true that is, but that's the impression that I get. I really like the Prismatic Blossom color palette. It's like a fine line between, like, pink and orange, which I think is very interesting. And the pose for the nostalgic fairies are really good, especially for the Kogras. I just like how magical they feel. They're so cool. I really just love this color palette. It's so, I don't know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the art direction in Okami a little bit, which that's a game I still haven't played, but I very much intend to. And I really just wanted to have like a serene, magical vibe from this illustration while not necessarily copying the pose from the original. So this is more of like an active walking illustration as opposed to flying up like the original art. This one was just a lot of fun to do. I really love doing the fairy designs, like I said, and this is definitely a very different approach to the wings compared to Lutari, who had more of like insect-like wings, whereas this one's definitely more bird or angel-like with its feathered wings. So it's a very different approach. Again, that's part of why I love the fairies and Neopets so much. I love the variety that they have. They're a very diverse group, which I think is part of what makes them so appealing. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this nostalgic fairy Kogra. It was very fun to do. And I've got to draw more fairy Neopets in the future. They are always such a treat. Next up, we have Prismatic Coco Festive Christmas Eerie. And this is a design where I really wanted to borrow the pose from the official art as much as possible because the original design's really good, right? Like, the Christmas Eries have, like, this little puff, I don't know, mane doesn't seem like the right description, but they have this, like, puffed of fur, like, on their chin/neck that is super cute. And in the Christmas version, it has, like, a drizzle of syrup-looking patterns, that way it looks like it's a candy. And in the festive art, the design's mostly the same, but then it's like sitting in a very curled up and cute way where it's snuggled into like its fluff, and I just thought that was so cute. I definitely wanted to reflect that in the art here. This is very much an illustration that was leaning into the pose because I just thought the pose was super charming. And I had a lot of fun with the drizzle effect on that fluff too. That was very fun to try to get the right movement for. It's a very simple design, but I just really found it very memorable because it was just so cute. So I just had a lot of fun with this one. It was very adorable. I feel like it's not overtly Christmassy except for like the red and white combo. It just feels more like candy to me, which I suppose is why it's like prismatic cocoa, right? Like the cocoa palette is definitely inspired by hot chocolate. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this one. It's very cute, very fluffy, very like cozy looking little creature. I just had so much fun with it. It's so adorable. I've definitely got to draw the Eries more because I actually really love their designs a lot. They're such fun little griffin interpretations, and I just think they're super cute. I especially love, like, the way they treat their heads where it's, like, dark on the top and then, like, lighter on the sides. I just think that looks really cool. So I definitely got to draw these guys more. They're very charming and very cute, and this one just looks so darn cozy. And with that, that's all that I've got for you guys today, so thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below which one of these designs was your favorite. Thank you, by the way, to my Ko-fi members for helping to support the channel. My Ko-fi members help to make these videos possible by making my income more consistent, and help me live out my dream of making art my main living. If you'd like to join them, you can go check out my Ko-fi page in the description. You can follow me for blog updates to see what kind of stuff I'm up to, check out my shop, check out my commissions, and much more. If you're interested in commissions, though, I recommend checking out my VGen page. I'm working on getting verified over there. I'd like to receive some more reviews, that way I seem a little bit more genuine and less like a random newcomer. I really want to make more income from my art this year, and I think VGen's going to be a great place for me to do that, so if you're interested, go ahead and check out my commissions on there. You can also check out my shop on there, where I've got some bundles where you can get a whole bunch of emotes or a whole bunch of wallpapers for a discounted price, so I recommend checking that out as well. I'm also going to be teaching some classes soon, such as this weekend at Insectropolis. I'm going to be teaching art with Arthropods, drawing with Rosie, where I'm going to teach how to draw Rosie the tarantula. But there's also some upcoming classes in March and June for different bugs, so go ahead and check out the link in the description if you're interested in going to Insectropolis and learning how to draw some wonderful arthropods together. I'm also going to be teaching some color club classes with the Leaping Fae over the next few months, so I highly recommend going to check out theleapingfae.com/events and following the Leaping Fae on Instagram, so that way you can see when these classes are going to be and when to sign up. And with that, that's all that I've got for you guys today, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you next week with another art video. And in the meantime, why don't you guys go out there and make some art.